Staccato is one of the trickiest articulations in piano technique. I believe I only truly master my staccato articulations after learning this Liszt concerto etude. Every time I performed this piece, I felt that something was missing, something not enough. And I found it challenging to execute the staccato passages. However, after achieving my desired performance of this etude, I realized my problem were with staccato articulations. And I have to say, staccato has three types: the light staccato, dry staccato, and the non-staccato. To truly master with staccato articulations, it is essential to distinguish and master all these three types. Let's start with the light staccato. The secret to achieving the light staccato lies in the position of your wrist and the fingers touch the keys. Try to keep your wrist down and slightly lower than the keyboard, and use your fingers to gently point and scratch the keys. So you point and you scratch. Also, the part of your hand should move only after your fingers. So basically, look, I point, scratch, you see? My hands, this part of my hand, it's following and moving after the fingers. Or like, do you hear that? The light sound and the scratch. So in the beginning of this concerto etude, it's starting with the light staccato. Again, hand positions, wrist down and scratch. The touching of the fingers correctly, it plays an important role. I almost scratch, but my positions of this, not like this. Do you see? I down my wrist. Do you see how it's very crystal and a very light sound of the staccato? So keep remember the light staccato, wrist down, and the scratch of your fingers. So now let's move to the dry staccato. The dry staccato, it's mostly used in the chords, intervals, or octaves. The secret of playing the dry staccato lies in maintaining and fixed positions of your hand. So without moving your wrist down or up, almost like you're trying to freeze. The fingers needs to be sharp, straight and tight. So almost like pointing and the freezing. So before you are going to play some chords, so you freeze, point, you freeze and point, you freeze, point, like this. You see, one of the trickiest part was left hand, which is the chords and the dry staccato. They need to give very loud sound. Honestly, I spent thousands of hours to practicing of this. The moment when I find that the freezing and pointing, look, do you see the sound is very light of my left hand? Dry staccato. Entire the almost the page, my left hand is giving the dry sound of staccato. Look at this. It's really one of the hardest moment was, but I have to say, the moment when you try to freeze your hand, your sound of the dry staccato will be much better. So the next one is a non-staccato. The method of playing non-staccato involves your hand making the same motion as your fingers. So essentially you touch the keys with your fingertips and then lift your fingers and hand together without involving the wrist. You see, without involving the wrist. You press and you up together. Or like. Also, in this etude, one of the part where is the non-staccato, it's needed. For example, this pizzicato part. Pizzicato, actually, we're mostly playing with the non-staccato. Do you see my left hand? I up my hand, you see? It's repeating part. So now, let me perform this whole section, which involves a mix of light staccato, dry staccato, and a non-staccato. So for example, this moment, as you see, left hand, dry staccato. Now light. You see my wrist? Dry staccato on my right hand, non-staccato on my left hand, right staccato, As you can see, I'm truly thankful for this concerto etude that I played in competitions. As mastering it has helped me, and I really understand what it means, the staccato articulations. I discovered a lot of details, and I hope it will be very beneficial to you. Save it.